Alright. So this is my video for propagating the awesome. If you're watching this and you are not my astronomy teacher, then propagating the awesome is actually it's an inquiry we have to do into the world of astronomy. And the event that I picked was the Tunguska Event. So, Dr. Gerardy, here it goes. Overview is it happened in the Tunguska region of Siberia in Russia on June 30th, 1908, so about 5 to 10 years before the First World War. General theory that everybody has and is commonly accepted is that it was caused by a comet or a meteor that exploded from a combination of pressure and heat just a few hundred feet above the ground. The comet was the size of a football field, and it was traveling at a velocity of about 10 miles per second. That's pretty fast. I would know. I like racing. The explosion was heard from many, many miles away. The explosion was 1,000 times bigger than the blast of the Hiroshima bomb. It leveled 500,000 acres. Just to put that in perspective, the Hiroshima bomb had the same power as 15 kilotons of TNT. So it was 1,000 times bigger than that. If you do the math, that is 15,000 kilotons of TNT. That's pretty big. So, I said the explosion leveled 500,000 acres. And the comet was only about the size of a football field. The size of a football field is 1.326 acres. So, if I take this penny, and I'm in this room, so here's my room, here's the room. It's kind of a big room, right? It's about 9 feet by 11 feet big. Keep in mind, this is a penny. This is the size of the comet. When this comet hit just above the ground, a couple hundred feet above the ground, and exploded, it leveled an area the size of this room. That's a big explosion. So, guy named Leonard Kulik, probably didn't pronounce it right, sorry, but he's dead, so you can't really be that offended. But he took the first expedition to the epicenter in 1927. Why wait so long? Well, like I said, the First World War happened in between the explosion and 1927, so Russia was somewhat involved in that, so they wouldn't be too keen on sending people in. They needed all their manpower on the front line. Well, in 1927, this guy, Leonard Kulik, took a few people in, scientists, astronomers, anybody he could find that was really smart at the time, and they interviewed local witnesses. Now, it's in Siberia, so there's not really a lot of big towns, but there is trading posts, little stations where people who are traveling from Siberia, places like Mongolia, could stop and rest, and they wouldn't freeze to death in the harsh climate. Well, people there said it was felt and seen over 100 miles away. Someone actually claimed that they were at a trading post sitting on the front porch, just hanging out, doing their whole weekend deal, and all of a sudden they see a big flash on the horizon, and about a few seconds later, they were shook out of their chair off of the porch by the explosion 100 miles away. That's big. I don't care what you say, that's big. So, he brought back evidence to what caused this. Until then, common theories were UFOs. Someone even said that there was a mini black hole that happened right above the area, and it just went catastrophe. Someone said antimatter explosion or antimatter forming, and few people actually thought it was Nikola Tesla's death ray because he had just come out about working on a project that he called a death ray. So someone thought, oh, he tested it and it just went off. Well, none of those are true, unfortunately, because Kulik brought back evidence of a central blast. Very compelling. The trees were all fallen outward from one central point. So you took one central point and you just went 360 degrees around it and flattened everything. So that made a very compelling argument for there being an epicenter to some sort of explosion, which is why we think that, or well, we pretty much know that it was a comet or an asteroid that exploded just above the ground. Some people still argue against it. Some people think it was an earthquake because there was no impact crater because the comet blew up above the Earth, so there was no impact crater. There were just the trees falling out from one central point. And then also there what was it? Shoot. Oh, yeah, that's right. There wasn't any particles from a meteor or an asteroid. There were no oddly heavy metals that weren't like indigenous to the region where it exploded. So that really would also say earthquake, but since the way the trees fell, no one has ever, and there's never been an earthquake in recorded history where you have had trees all falling out from a central point from an earthquake. That doesn't usually happen. Earthquakes usually happen along fault lines. So that's why people don't think it was an earthquake. So that's why it was commonly, or that's why it's still commonly accepted as a comet or asteroid exploding some couple hundred feet above the surface of the Earth due to pressure and heat. So that is just an overview of the Tunguska event. I hope you liked it, Dr. Gerardy. I hope it's worth 100. Yeah, sorry about that stumble there in the middle. If you're just watching this because, well, I'm a credible source. Go to college. No, just kidding. Yeah, so thank you for watching and thank you for your time.